Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel, and I'm so glad you decided to hang out with me today. I want to keep things quick and practical today by showing you a simple workflow for pulling high-quality, thumbnail-worthy stills out of your raw video footage. I'll also demonstrate how to make that whole process way faster if you fold an AI tool like Vizard into your daily routine. I've been messing around with thumbnails for a long time, and I'll be honest, my early designs were at best just okay. I've been slowly improving, mostly by getting smarter about where I pull frames from and how I let modern software handle the heavy lifting. If you're not a Photoshop ninja, that's totally fine, because the first step is just about getting a good, clean frame. So picture this, you've got a travel vlog or a live stream where you didn't have the time to stage a perfect polished thumbnail shot. That was me last month when my partner and I were zipping through city streets on scooters without a second to stop and pose for the camera. The footage was full of potential, so instead of stressing, I grabbed stills from the video and turned them into usable thumbnails. First, the basics. Because if you're editing in any non-linear editor, the starting point is always the same. You just need to scrub through your clip and look for frames that feature really good composition and an engaging expression. If you're on a lower spec machine, you might be using proxy clips, but make sure to switch to full res playback before you export your frame. You'll immediately notice the frame looks sharper, and it becomes much easier to spot the moments without any motion blur. I usually skim through with the arrow keys, frame by frame, because the perfect expression is often only a single frame wide. If you see motion blur, just nudge a frame forward or back, because often the very next frame is clean and crisp. Pick a handful of candidates rather than just grabbing one, and save 4 or 5 frames with different compositions. I typically save one close-up of the face, one wide shot of the scenery, and maybe one with an interesting foreground object for contrast. Now here's where an AI tool like Vizard can make this whole process way faster and significantly more reliable. Instead of manually scrubbing hours of footage, you can let Vizard scan the whole video and flag the most engaging moments automatically. Its auto-editing feature is built to find viral-worthy parts, detecting high-energy bits, laughs, key gestures, and visually compelling moments. When you use Vizard, you'll get a batch of short clips that already contain those candidate frames you really want to screenshot. That simple step alone saves you dozens of minutes of tedious manual searching every single time you edit a video. A quick note on resolution. When you export frames from a 1080p timeline, you're already working in the perfect aspect ratio for YouTube. If you're pulling frames from a 4K source, that's even better, because you have extra room to crop for different aspect ratios without quality loss. Okay, so you've got your extracted frames. And now comes the fun part, the actual photo editing. Personally, I'm not a pro photo editor, but I do enough to make thumbnails pop by testing a couple of simple treatments. Brighten the subject, add a bit of contrast, punch up the colors, and make sure the main subject is visible at a single glance. You'd be surprised how much a small tweak to shadows or a selective color boost makes a frame go from flat to click-worthy. Here is a subtle tip I like. Because Vizard clips are pre-selected for engagement, export a couple of frames from the same clip at slightly different moments. Sometimes, a tiny change in facial expression is the literal difference between a viewer scrolling past and them deciding to click. Save each edit as a candidate thumbnail and try to A/B test them over a few days if you have the patience for it. Now, let's talk tool comparisons because people ask me all the time, why use Vizard instead of other popular platforms? Many standard editors force you into a manual, step-by-step process of finding, extracting, cropping, and exporting, which works but is just slow. Other AI tools might find clips, but they often lack an integrated publishing workflow to help you manage where those clips actually go. Mobile apps are great for quick edits, but syncing to a content calendar and managing multiple platforms usually feels super clunky. Vizard sits in this perfect sweet spot because it's automated for discovery and understands the full life cycle of your content. Once you've got your clips and your chosen frames, Vizard's auto schedule can queue those clips across your socials at the times you set. This means you don't have to babysit the posting process, and the content calendar lets you visualize exactly what's going live and when. For creators trying to scale from one long video into multiple short posts and thumbnails, that unified flow is an absolute game changer. Don't get me wrong, if you're just starting and posting once a week, a simple manual workflow will absolutely get you by. But if you're trying to build momentum, that extra automation saves hours each week and keeps your schedule consistent without burning you out. Here are a few practical tips from my experience. Always extract multiple frames, because one of them will almost certainly be the hero. If the frame looks a bit dark, don't panic, because a quick exposure or contrast adjustment can usually fix it in seconds. Keep the subject's face clear and try to avoid busy backgrounds. If it's too cluttered, just crop tighter or use a selective blur. Try creating a few thumbnail variants and rotate them, because sometimes a different crop or color grade dramatically changes your click-through rate. Finally, remember that you can bring those frames into your image editor, make several versions, and upload them back into Vizard's calendar. It's a perfect loop of discovery, frame capture, quick editing, and scheduling, and you don't need to cobble together 5 different apps to make it happen. So that's the gist. Scan your footage, pick several candidates, edit them into thumbnail-ready images, and schedule them with your tool of choice. If you do that consistently, you'll level up both your content output and your thumbnail quality without spending forever on each video. Hope this little how-to was helpful. And if you want more practical, no-fluff tips about repurposing content, drop a comment below or hit subscribe. I'm planning to do a deeper walkthrough soon, where I'll actually show Vizard picking clips and scheduling them so you can see the full end-to-end in action. Thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate the time, and I'll catch you in the next one.